So what is this? This is an HRT, a Human-Restricted TAS. So the objective of this, it's also called Human Theory TAS by some people. The objective of this is show how far can humans go in a speedrun, pretty much. So it's adding all the things that humans are capable of, pulling them all together in a single run, made as a very low optimized TIS, let's say, like more of a tool assisted demonstration if you want. And yeah, it's just basically that. It just shows the theoretical sum of best if you were to put all the runners together. So that's what we're gonna do. And for reference, I'm using some splits here. You're seeing these splits are like pretty good, right? Compared to my run, which is like 26 minutes over this. That's because this is my calculated sum of best, or I guess estimated sum of best, kind of, using my individual level runs, okay? So I've run a lot of individual levels. I use all the times on those, and I adjusted the loading time of individual levels and converted to any percent, because it's different loading times, and we actually know more or less, like down to the frame, or to the cycle rather. We're gonna explain what that is later. But yeah, it's like fairly accurate. This would be my current best. I don't really know why the sum of best and the actual time are different. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's just 2 seconds. If this was well made, this should actually gold every single split, I think. Not entirely sure, but it might do it. Okay. So, oh yeah, I see a couple. There's 2 goals that are wrong. Okay, that makes sense. I'll do it. Okay. So it's still estimated. I actually give some time to it. Like I added a little bit of approximations here and there to have an accurate sum of best, calculated sum of best from my side. And yeah, let's start the movie. And let's hope it didn't desync anywhere. Let's go. So of course, starts from reset. I need to pay attention for the splits. Hello everyone in the chat, welcome. So timer starts on there. As soon as you press new game. So we can skip all the cutscenes here. There's not a whole lot. There's one cutscene between each world and the beginning, of course. Then you can match out these texts with any face button. Here you're gonna see multiple switches. That is something we work around. Freeze actually discovered that. Okay, that's already kind of weird, but that's fine. Probably missed the calculation on my side. You save. Every switch takes 7 seconds. I mean 7 frames, definitely not 7 seconds. And that means, like, every time you can optimize the camera, it's like pretty good. Because switching from far away gives you a lot of camera time. Okay? Alright, that's more like it. So probably just the first... I probably miscalculated the loading time on the first split. That's my guess. So you see, we're doing a lot of stuff while we do other stuff. There's a lot of multitasking in this game. You can also play this game with 2 controllers, which allows for even more multitasking, of course. But with 1 controller, you still have a lot of room. Like, for example, there you can do a switch, like a boost with Eric, which is the redhead right here, and then switch to another guy, and he will keep doing the boost out of the camera. And that actually gives you an extended boost, kinda, like a slightly extended boost. So it's even better than not switching. And then here, Biolog, this guy right here, is the one that usually gives the fight. Alright. So yeah, we're gonna spec a lot more time save later. You see, my individual levels are decent. Here you can do a slightly earlier camera switch, and you skip one of the items, because you don't grab items out of camera. A whole lot of stuff don't exist out of camera, actually, including enemies, some items, well, the items you can grab, of course, and supposedly some doors even, but most doors do exist out of camera. There's some global stuff. Right there, that is a super armor headbutt, which is you don't get knocked down after, you know, doing the headbutt. It's a 3-pixel window, and there's like several spots, 3-pixel wide, where you can do it. It's not that hard to hit, but it's reasonably hard. Like, we usually just go for it, you know? Like, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Setting up for it is usually more time. And that's the first arm boost we're gonna see. We're gonna see another one. Every time you grab this thing with a tether, you can release the button. You just press the Y button again on the first cycle, which is 3 frames, about 3 frames of grabbing the thing, and that will send Biolog in a very interesting like angle. Like you're gonna beam pulse with the speed that you will normally get into the tether, because it always gets a little bit of speed getting into it, and you can carry that whole speed into a long jump, basically. We're gonna see another one here. So what is a cycle? This game runs at 60 FPS, but it doesn't receive inputs, so that's another one, on every frame. It receives inputs every 3 frames. So you can buffer during the previous 2 frames, and then on the 3rd frame of every cycle, the game is gonna read an input, actually. And yeah, that means you can actually hit, like, if you hold a button for just 2 frames and you hit the beginning of a cycle, you won't press the button, actually. So right there, that's action duplication. I opened the door with Fang, but I didn't switch to Fang. And that's because your actions get duplicated when you are on, like, falling animation. I mean, the falling damage animation, when characters are recovering. So that way you can, you know, press buttons, you can use items too. We use that actually 2 times in the run. That's one of those. The other one is a little bit more cooler. Right there, that's a bridge clip. You have, I don't know if it's 1 cycle or 2 cycles, it might be 2, where you can jump after pressing the button, and Eric will do it, will get it, you know. That skips the water section. I don't remember exactly how much it saves, but it saves some seconds. And here, Eric's gonna come here, Fang is gonna tackle 1 damage. We're gonna go down, and Eric will take just 1 damage down. Then here, that's a smart bomb, or the nuke if you want. It's an item you can use to kill every single enemy in the screen. And then a fart boost right there, because you actually go faster if you hold Y for a little bit after a fart with Olaf. So that was the first world, Transylvania. Now we're gonna go to the second one, Dark Ages. And you'll see the difficulty, if you ever played this game casually, the difficulty spikes and like a whole lot between areas, and then on the same area you kind of get kind of a plateau on difficulty. Pretty much every level on an area has a similar difficulty, but you see the difficulty rising between areas. So you see, every time I leave a character falling, for example, I switch to another character to do something else. That's the multitasking aspect. Here you can do a fart right after that platform to avoid the pulley puzzle. I cancel my boost right there because I don't actually want to go too far in order to make the next boost. And that right there, you see, if you ram into an enemy, you will actually hit the enemy. But that's like, you can cancel your boost with Eric, the dash, you know, pressing any other direction, and that will do so you can like run past enemies without hitting them. And also you can do an extended dash after that. Once you cancel the first one, you can just do another one, and so on. This is an extended dash with Eric. So you see how the time save goes on and on. We already hit the sub 11 to 111 mark. There's a little trick right there, which is an auto jump switch. You press jump and switch at the same time, and it will trigger an instant double jump from Eric, allowing you to destroy blocks from short distances, and with like an optimal switch, optimal time of switch. Right there's a sequence break too, of course. We clean that part with Eric, and then save Scorch with Eric, which is way faster. And that one's cycle perfect. So you got 3 frames to do it. Otherwise you die, because you land on the spikes. It's one of those you might reset here tricks, you know? Or at least you gotta do the beginning of the level again. So it depends on how optimized your run is, I guess. There, we fall with all the way down with Scorch. How? Because these pulleys right here, these platforms, weight platforms, don't exist until you see them for the first time. You see the platform for the first time, not the chains. So if you were to fall into them out of camera without seeing them for the first time on a level, you will go through them. And then after that, we traded the bomb with Scorch into Eric for a slightly faster bomb. I barely almost touched the spikes there. There's a wizard here. So that's one of the RNG aspects of this game, which you can avoid on other categories, called special moves, for example, where you can pretty much insta-kill every enemy. There's still, of course, a lot of RNG, but you might not die a lot from enemies in those categories. Here, you can definitely do. If enemies don't behave and just like harass you, then you can be in trouble. So you're always hoping to get some good enemies here and there, especially nasty ones. Like, for example, that knight right there, it's not big of a deal, but there's a wizard right here that is actually gonna damage Biolog. I did my best, but my save states didn't allow me to get rid of that, actually. Right here, another boost. Pretty good one right there. We get a good position set up to do that. There's another wizard here. We got pretty lucky with that one. And you see Bylog is in 1 health at this point. So you can just die on this level easily. And you see moving the characters while Eric is falling. We're gonna see a lot of that. Alright, blocks. Blocks has some interesting skips. There's 2 like sequence breaks if you want. The first one is not massive. You only skip a bomb. So there's a bomb here in the water. But you can just do a landing boost here. Normally you need 3 blocks, like 3 tiles, to do a ram into destroyable blocks. But you can actually do it with 2 if you do a landing boost, which is cycle perfect landing into the 2 tile wide spot. And on 80%, usually what you do is you do that one, and then you grab the bomb for the next one. So you can use the bomb on an unintended way. Here we're gonna skip both though, which is what my individual level did actually. This is the second one, and this one is way more annoying, that one, because if you failed it, every attempt takes quite a lot. There, the dragon can be very nasty sometimes, and just decide to kill Eric. Here, if you see, at the end of this, you're gonna see Fang doing a slash. That's to avoid grabbing the wall, which is not mandatory at all. You can still do a very little movement to the side, and it's gonna be alright. But it makes it more consistent and more easier, because you can just hold a direction and then Y for the slash. So you don't have to worry about these targets. It's actually fairly hard to get them, the 3 of them immediately. And that's a very hard part. I've done that on my individual levels. It's to escape using Olaf as a shield. Or the shield of Olaf, rather. Just do a puzzle very fast with Biolog. And you can also do it after an arm boost. So bomb right there, you don't have to put the bomb beneath the blocks. You can just put it aside from them. Another wizard that can be unfortunate. And here I'm leaving both characters here, so they get a little bit more distance on the geyser. Because you start getting more distance after the second time you go on geysers. And that movement right there is extremely hard. That geyser optimization, it's really, really hard. And that'll be the end of this one. Teleport. You see here, I want to move Biolog first to give the items, and then the rest of the characters. Because, you know, the items spin around the last NPC, and that takes some time. So whenever you can, you want to give the items before you do something else. So that's kind of a hard one. It's cycle perfect and also very precise on the platform, because you are on a time cycle after leaving the platform. I think you have like 3 tries of doing that before you start losing time. There's some enemies there that can be nasty too. You see, there's a ton of wizards. They just teleport, appear out of nowhere, and shoot, you know, electrical pellets. One of the nastiest enemies. There's another one here. There it is. Just barely shooting into ground. There's some tricky movement there with the knight to avoid damage. Actually damage the wizard there to avoid 1 damage. Because the RNG wasn't being nice. We're gonna leave both characters here and move everyone after that. Some interesting movement with the dragon. And then a cancel boost. If you don't cancel that boost, you're gonna land after the time machine. Alright, so 1-9 mark. Pretty good. 2 minutes cut from the Sumo Vest. Alright, Besu is a very interesting level because I don't remember if it was last year or 2019, but another player whose name I don't remember, and that sucks. I really want to I really want them to show off so I can remember their name. Discover this kid right here. You have 3 pixels to land on that spot and then skip those spikes. That not only saves time from the puzzle, it also gives you a bomb that you need for the puzzle. So instead we're gonna use it here. So the bomb it went down and exploded on this, and that's early tarot card. Otherwise you have to do a massive like workaround on this level to get the tarot card. So we go here, grab this thing, then do a little bit of the pulley. We only need Bylog up, so we can actually do a arm boost there. You see, arm boost don't just make you go fast, like this one for example. They can also give you a special movement, like going upwards a little bit, for example. So we're actually gonna use a lot of those during the run. And again, all of those viable RTA, and I've done most of them, I think, on my individual levels. Not all of them, but I definitely went for all of them on individual levels. On any percent, probably not doing that for a while. I'm definitely not on a level yet. And I just don't need it for a PV yet. So that's a little one. We're gonna see another one here to go a little bit up. And here, you can actually put Olaf out of there on the same cycle. But it's like really tricky yet unnecessary because you can do other stuff in the meantime. So it's like totally fine not doing it. I even didn't do it for this because it actually doesn't save time on one player at least. That boost is really risky actually. I've done it, but it's risky because if you failed it, you might land on water. Auto jump switched right there. With the insta double jump with Eric. And then here we're gonna go up. Another boost right here. And then here, managing this enemy can be tricky on a run. You can get unlucky and have it like very close to Eric. And here we're gonna do a double drop, which is fairly hard. It's scary. It's actually not that hard, but it's scary, and usually the nerves go against you if you try to go for it. Because that's the thing, it's scary, because if you miss it with Bylog, he goes into water and you die. If you miss it with Eric, you have fall damage. And you have to recover from that. Taking damage there is fine, because you actually get boosted upwards. That movement. I've actually done that kind of movement. It's less tricky than it looks. I had to switch to the key anyways there, that's why I traded the veer. Auto jump switch there. No boost here, because you're too close to the tether spot. So you actually won't get a good boost. You're gonna boost into the fire on that spot. So it just doesn't do anything. Here we're gonna do a fart from the rope, and that goes directly down for some reason. It's kind of a cool, neat strat you can do there. And it's very old. The TAP runs. The hitbox on the chest is actually it goes very high up. You don't need to go all the way down into the chest to open them. The underwater chest, that is. That's a little extended double jump. So something about double jumps and jumps in general. The more you hold B, the more distance you get. And also, I haven't completely confirmed, but I think turning around a little bit might give you more distance too. I say we believe that because I'm not entirely sure. Like, I haven't completely tested. What has been tested is pressing B for the most amount of time, of cycles, basically. Here we're gonna skip a little bit of the pulley, making Olaf land there. Use the nuke here for the pirates, just to make it an easier end. There's not really a better place for that nuke. It'll be the bird, I guess. But the bird dies fairly easy on this one. So yeah, I prefer to use it there. Okay. The bomb right there. We move Olaf while we wait for the bomb. Take 1 damage. On any percent, you would just put the elevator up with Olaf. You leave it going up. There's a boost here. If you're a little bit off on that boost, you might like don't get a whole lot of distance. Don't get a whole lot of distance. I'm gonna get the second bomb here with this strat, which actually saves time. I time it on 1C at least, 1 controller. But it takes damage. That's the bad part. Then that pirate can be nasty. Sometimes you can kill it with Scorch if it's closer on camera. We don't actually need to kill this pirate, we just gonna want to get the diamond behind it. Lots of multitasking here during the platform stuff. Just trying to save the most amount of time. That damage was unnecessary, by the way. I just have like kind of a bad save state there that I just decided to work around it. It's not that big of a deal. Here you can do a little heart boost if you put the shield before, like on the last moment, basically. And here we put the shield and we land on the shield to avoid damage. And to give you a reasonable spot to kill the bear. Alright, Oval is a nasty level. He has two cannons on one spot that are... You're like supposed to get rid of one with bombs. With one bomb. But you can choose not to do it, and instead use the bomb somewhere else, where you would normally use Olaf. That bear can also be very nasty. It was well behaved this time. Because this is a TAS, of course. It can just decide to kill you. Here we're gonna go for the elevator first. Do a little bit of dialogue in the meantime. Then go elevator down while we fight. Then jump into Olaf's shield for this pulley. Do a little bit of dialogue during that time. And then do this jump, which is a sick jump. On 1C is fairly hard. There's a little bit of... There's two boosts there. So from this part of the camera, you are in a good spot. So only one of the cannons is working. And that allows for a little setup where you can like react to where the cannon is, count a little bit, like where the cannonball is, and then just go through and take just one damage instead of getting like stun locked by them. So there's where we use the bomb. You might be able to skip that damage now that I think about it, with Olaf being right in time. And here I also got another bomb for this cannon. So you see, you would normally need to go with Olaf into that spot. And that takes some time. Another boost here. Right into the ladder. And now we're gonna go for the last part. We need everyone with 2 HP. That's why I'm using items. You're gonna see me going for that item. And that's to do an alignment here. To get a perfect alignment of the platform. There you go. So everyone lands on the platform, but you need to take 1 damage. So you can't always do it. And it's even harder on this level after the cannon shit, because that means you have less health. Here, I'm not moving Scorch up, because we are skipping Scorch. There's a pixel perfect alignment right here, where you can just ram into that. that was discovered by Shanxi. Apparently years ago, on like 2018 or so. But I was only aware of it not too long ago. To get the elevator, there's actually a little bit of an extended jump with Eric. Oh, that's another alignment right there. Also, to press that button. That one is really easy. Just align with the wall. And it gives you perfect pixel. Trading the key right there. And then Bylok just falls. So pulley time. We leave the pulley going, and then we go to Eric. So doing it this way allows for the block to actually open the door when you go to that part with Eric. Otherwise, if you leave the block out of sight, it just never triggers. That boost has to be cancelled, otherwise you land on water. Then here, a little bit of an extended double jump to land here. We won't kill that cannon. Really not necessary. We use the bomb later. And here you can do that thing to get rid of those blocks. It's really cool. It's a little bit risky and scary because of the fire. And then there's just the end of the level. We're gonna get rid of the cannon just to make it easier. And because we have a free bomb. Again, kind of just an RTA safe strat. I decided to include it here. Because otherwise, RTA speaking, you're usually waiting for the next cycle of the cannon, which is kind of a time loss. Whereas using the bomb is like just a couple frames. Menus are really fast on this game. Alright, this fucking level. This level is kind of a nightmare on runs. It can just decide to kill you. There's these platforms that have annoying cycles. We do this part, the dark part, without a torch. There's rocks. There's also a tiki man that can convert you into a monkey. It can go all wrong. The bombs can just decide to wombo combo you. And then you die. But you see everything going smooth here, of course. Here you do a dropping double jump with Eric that allows you to go all the way there without losing your momentum. We're gonna see a couple of those dropping double jumps later. Then there's these platforms too. Like, if it wasn't enough with the other platforms, we have these two. Here's where your multitasking has to shine. You have to think about what to do while you wait for the next cycle on characters. So that would be like sick decision making in the run, basically. Also, you see all these plants are in a little bit of a timer every time you kill them, because they're gonna grow up again. Here, this is one of the doors that probably doesn't exist out of camera until the first time you see them. So you can actually go past the door a tiny bit, saving a little bit of time. Almost nothing, but you're farther away, so technically saves time. And then there's the lag at the end of the stage. There's so much of it. So yeah, you can see their massive time save. So right here, we need to put Olaf in a correct spot to hang on this little falling wall. You can actually leave him on like 1 pixel on the shield, and he will still hold it. Then we leave Fang on the correct spot for the plant. We trade both keys to Olaf, because he's gonna need both on this part. Then you can do like an insta jump when you land on the surface of water, allowing you to get some distance without having the slow water movement. Also another laggy part. And here we're gonna do a section with Eric. A section that you're supposed to do with both Eric and Fang. You're just gonna kill the plan, then do a whole lot of cancel boosts through enemies, and just go here with Eric. Just boost the plant with a double jump. It's a little alignment there that allows you to do an extended boost. There I actually had to wait a tiny bit to avoid the Tiki Man thingy. There's another clip. This one is different though. This one I think you make it between the collision of the door. It's fairly precise. And it doesn't save a whole lot. It actually makes your run more dangerous for the next part, because you might get damage on the plant if you do the next trick, which is avoiding the plant with a boost out of camera, because plants doesn't exist out of camera. So here you can use the bomb and just go past with every character in time. You actually have enough time. You turn around there before the fart, so you can teleport immediately after the fart, because teleport preserves your direction. And here's some heavy multitasking while waiting for the platform. It's actually alright to miss one cycle, as long as you have something to do with other characters. So we might do the same here, just leaving Violet there, again, then going to Scorch, so that way you will have camera of the platform and you can react to it. So another part that requires a good amount of multitasking and decision making, if you want. Then by doing that Scorch section first, that gives you just enough time to do that setup with the platform, making grabbing that tether from the falling board not that hard. Because I think it's cycle perfect if you do it without the platform. Which is not great, because if you failed it, you will take fall damage and lose a lot of time. Here, just keep the geyser by just falling slowly with Olaf. And then we're gonna grab the tether from the air. This one is also cycle perfect. If you fail, it doesn't matter. Like, doesn't lose any time, pretty much. Just go for it. You don't need to grab the vines here, actually, to hit that. You can just do an angle tether. And yeah, that fucker actually hit me. Now I know that that can happen. That has never happened to me. It happened in the TAS. There I can actually hold down. I forgot about that on the elevator while you go up. I did it on all the other elevators pretty much, but I forgot this one. And here you see I'm getting close to the monkey every time I hit it instead of spamming attack. That is because if you spam attack, monkeys have a weird property where they kind of don't take damage. I think it's while rolling, or maybe they have some kind of invincibility, I don't know. But sometimes you might hit monkeys like 6 times and they don't die. And it should be just 3 hits. But if you cancel the rolling, getting close to it, because if you get close to it, it will trigger an attack. So that cancels the roll. And that way is guaranteed 3 hits. That arm boost right there is fairly easy. You have a lot of room to do it, actually. And the setup is not hard at all. What might actually be harder, or about the same, is doing the dash jump with Eric. So you have a 1 cycle after doing canceling a dash, or at the last part of the dash, to do a very extended jump horizontally. Now this one is cool. You go very high on the next tether. It's just not enough distance to land there, so you actually have to go for it. It almost looks like you were going to do a full loop. You actually go very high on it. And then the platform just giving me the perfect cycle there. You have all the time to do all this part. We're adjusting Fang there for a camera trick right here. We switch to Fang to open this door. We used to go all the way down into the fire trap. You don't actually need it. You can just do it from there. It's the closest spot I could find to do that. It's a late split, but it's fine. So, 1 boost here. I actually forgot to move Olaf right there, but that's fine. And then there's this boost. That is the fastest boost in the game so far. At least on the route, you know? And that you can actually do it. It's on my individual level. It goes so fucking fast. Like, Biolog is even out of camera for a little bit because of how fast it is. It's the Mega Jit. So yeah, on this part, Olaf should actually be down here. Instead, he's gonna be up here. That saves a little bit of camera. Again, I just forgot about it and didn't want to go back to the oldest save state after doing the jits. And it's not a whole lot of time. It's might be like 0.5 seconds maybe. Probably no more than that. Which would be a lot for a TAS, by the way. But this is just a like a human restricted one, so it's fine. Alright, one of the worst platforms right here. Landing boost on this one. That's actually very hard. And Eric lands most of the time on the last pixel of the platform. Just enough to start making the puzzle for the Biolog part. It's pretty cool. It happens most of the time. Yeah, you can just clip through the bridge on that spot. Now the last part, so you see the elevators going down before. There's kind of a, I think it's a precise pixel, because I've studied this a little bit with cycles, but it seems to be precise pixel, where the game thinks you are actually in the ground, but you're still on air. Alright, so we're skipping the torch here. There's 2 dark sections on this level. There, I've run a little bit to the left with Fang. That's just to assure I get the extended dash. So here you go to the right 3 times, and then you go up right, and that guarantees a good water section. Very good RTA strat. Then here, surface jump to do all that. Here another dark section. I'm killing this thing, and there I'm doing a double teleport, because Eric's is on knockdown animation. Another extended past the plant right there. And on knockdown animation, your actions get duplicated. So I teleported with Scourge, which also teleported Eric. Right there, I actually move Fang. You can hear Fang. It's on the wall right now. And I extend past the plant. Just leave it on the wall, so it doesn't take fall damage. And also, you don't have to worry about the fire because it's out of camera. And then this part, you can just walk past those. Do 1 damage on that one with Scorch. And then here, you see a little jump. That's because an aerial... You can do an aerial slash with Fang. And on the landing animation, that cancels the slash. So you can input another one immediately after that. So it's like an auto cancel if you want to make more slashes in less time. Oh, that was a long text right there. Definitely a mistake. Not sure how that slid. You see, there's actually a ton of boosts in this game, and you can decide which ones you will use pretty much. There's a couple that save a ton of time, or not a ton, but like a good amount. And then there's ones like this one, for example, that I don't know, it might save like 0 point something. Probably no more than that. But yeah, basically the ones that skip puzzles, those ones are good. And hopefully the ones that, you know, you don't get a big punish for doing them, or for trying them even. Here we change to Olaf, and this gives you a perfect switch where you can just hold right and land this to skip a whole puzzle there. A good alignment there with Eric allows you to go past that part on the geyser. And then there's a tiny skip on Olaf there, using the geyser to give enough height, and then a fart. This is a scary part, but if you do all of that the way it's done right there, which I've done it multiple times, you actually don't get hit by the robot. The robot just don't attack. And then on Olaf, I did a little bit of a 6 strat right there before, on the first part of the electricity. I also done it multiple times, so it's humanly possible. It's just scary. It's not actually that hard, but it's scary because you're too close to the electricity. Also, some of this went down a lot. Didn't even pay attention to it. Whoa. Here, switching to Eric, and then switching to Fang. Double teleport here. And we're gonna do this again, so you're gonna see it again. You can dash past electricity that is out of camera. So we're gonna do it again here. Setting up Fang there. And that just goes past the electricity. Using a hamburger in the last second right there. You can cancel this boost. Go down. This level would take like 4 minutes normally. More so. Would be one of the longest levels ever. Instead it's the shortest level in the game. Like a minute. So fucking fast. Just because of those 2 skips. Okay, this level is pretty hard. So we're gonna kill this robot. After the poof, we need to wait a tiny bit. Otherwise, if you're too fast after the poof of the enemy, you might trigger a missing platform glitch here. Which you definitely don't want. Because it's really bad for the speedrun. A fairly entertaining glitch, but it gives like gravity, low gravity to Eric anywhere. Or everywhere, rather. And you can kind of control Eric's gravity using the platform. So we're gonna move Olaf here, put him just enough to defend from the robot. Then do this switch right here, which I've done it. Change Eric there, and then kill the robot. You can take 1 damage, it's fine. 2 damage is kinda bad. You're gonna use Olaf there. Here, dropping double jump to avoid the rope. But yeah, Olaf is optional, because you can do a landing boost. That fucking boost is so unnecessary. It saves like, I don't know, 0.3 seconds maybe? But you can do it. And it's like, it's human. It's definitely human. 3 frames. So on this part, we're gonna wait a little bit to deactivate this thing. After this. So we wait a little bit, and that allows Eric to don't have the knockdown, the entire knockdown animation. There's a little setup right there. You just go back and forth just a tiny bit, gives you enough time to avoid the electricity. Going back there to avoid damage from the alien. This part is scary. Like, you usually want to get here with the biggest amount of health. That right there is also scary. I did it on my individual level. Probably never gonna do it on runs. Not that tight, but scary as fuck. Because if the block lands on Biolog, you're done. So here, there's gonna be another pixel alignment. Discover a Chansey, right there. Biolog is on the correct pixel to do this. You have one cycle, so it's pixel perfect and cycle perfect, this one too, to press that button after you take damage. Skipping a massive portion of this puzzle. If you get both, first try you save like 15 seconds. Kinda. There was already another skip on this level with Scorch on the water. But that's a little bit slower. Now here's a big one. You need to get a cycle 2 cycles perfectly, one after another. You have to hold B until the last cycle of the double jump, release B for 1 cycle, and then press it again on the double jump to get that super extended double jump. Which again, I've done it, but not on runs. It's really hard, it saves like 12 seconds. This one I've done it. That is a very cool boost right there. And by the way, the super extended double jump might actually be pixel tight. I need to dig a little bit more into it. It might not work from some pixels. But I still cannot confirm that. This part is also scary, you don't have a whole lot of health for the end. But at least there is a ton of hamburgers on the enemies. So you can always choose to go slower and kill extra enemies. Every enemy has a hamburger on this level. So here we're gonna do a little skip. We go there, take 2 damage, and that cleans that part of the puzzle. There's another version with 1 damage, but it's very tight. So if you want to do this on run, you definitely want to have 3 health on Eric, on this category at least. And on this part, you can do the elevator a little bit earlier if you have more health. But you see, every skip on this level uses health. So you have to manage your health and decide, like, what things are you doing? What things are you going for, you know? Okay, 1-4. I wonder if we can go below 1-4. We'll see. This is the boss battle, the first boss. This is the 1 cycle fang, I call it. You delay a little bit of Tomato's movement using the slash. And that allows you to do this fight on just 1 cycle, instead of waiting an extra cycle. And yeah, Tomato doesn't do damage when he's on, like, damage animation. You can just run past him. And then here we're gonna skip some of the electricity with precise jumps, which again I've done on runs. This one is also kind of precise. And then here you can land on the platform. I mean on the block. Saving some time to going all the way around, but at the cost of 1 health. And if you go for the fast electricity before, you might lose another health, so it can be a scary part. The Scorch part, definitely, like, more intricate than the Fang part, even while the 1 cycle looks sick with Fang, it's actually not that hard to do. I think the Scorch part is definitely harder. So we'll put both characters here on the correct spot so they can use the item as soon as you trade it, okay, with Olaf. So it'll be used immediately. And then after I finish, I'm gonna hold left with Olaf. Right here. And he just goes out of the stage. And that's not swag. Okay? It works as swag, but it also skips the text. It says like 14 frames for free. You just hold left. That's it. You have to time it a little bit, but yeah, I think even if you fail the timing, you might be able to switch into the other characters and get it. Here, this 1 cycle Tomato, damage twice there, makes you kind of invincible while you're small on the rope. There's the 1 cycle Olaf Tomato fight. Pretty good. Pretty consistent too. It's like really consistent actually. Very handy strat for this stage. And then here we're gonna do something similar with like the least amount of cycles on this fight. Press the button and then immediately grabbing the rope and breaking this. And then going here as fast as possible, taking damage here. So this is gonna be the cycle where Tomato goes past the bridge. And we're gonna hit it the first time we goes back on this part. Which is hard, but if you do all that, you actually, it's timed kind of perfectly to fit. So you can hit it there. So you can always just go for it and see if you get it. And if you don't get it, you wait for the next cycle. So here Bylock will do this, and Eric is gonna go here. And go up. Preparing for something later. And here's the fastest method I have, at least, for this fight. There's an extended GYSR right there. You do a tether, angle up and to the side, and press A on the button at the same time, and that gives you an extended jump. And then here, this strat is, I love it. And then here, you got 8 frames to ram here, get reset by the bomb, and then ram again. Which is something very scary to do at the end of a run. Again, 8 frames, it's kind of a lot, but it's scary. Because if you fail, you just die. I mean, sometimes you don't die. There is like, depending on how the cycle works, you might just lose 1 health, okay? Yeah, this is quite a lot. Look at that. 7 minutes 30 below my sumo best. Again, the sumo best of the individual levels. Or the calculated sumo best if you want. Like, imagine how low an actual TIS can go. TIS is I guess it's below an hour, I guess. Why not? Who knows? But yeah, like, this is the time you would get if you would have the perfect, or not even the perfect, but like close to perfect human execution. Because again, all of this is human. All of this, you can actually do it on runs. But it's about the being clean, you know? Hitting all your switches, all those stuff. Because the biggest time losses are actually from like bad decision making and like missing a switch, for example, or missing an idea, forgetting some strat, some events that need to happen. At least my time losses come from that, usually. Yeah, that could probably go absurdly low. Yeah. But yeah, I'm actually very happy with this. Like, it worked out very well. It was like 6.5 hours or so of making this TIS. So not a whole lot, if you think about it, you know, like... Actual TISs take months, if not years sometimes. But for human-restricted, I think it's fine. Yeah, ARG is a really hard level. ARG is 5-4. That one has just so many skips and so many things you can do. And all of the skips consume HP. That is the hard part. Yeah, it will probably take a whole lot of time to make a TIS, like an actual TIS of this. It is a game with a lot of intricacies. a lot of complicated or like, let's say, compelling physics, I guess. Like you can do so much with the physics of this game. That's the thing. So that allows for a ton of optimization. Like I bet you can do double arm boosts here and there, which is like the double arm boost is what I kind of like to call it. Is you boost with a tether point, and then once you get the boost, Vilo gets to the other side, and then on like around here, he does another boost into this thing, and so you get a ton of speed on the opposite direction. Which is like completely impossible to think like humanly. You might be able to get it on like a tiny segment of a level, but not even individual level, I think. Mega Jit everywhere, exactly. Basically. But yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube, as always, later. And yeah, I hope you like it. Don't spec this on my runs. Definitely not. I still need to get like sub 130. Like what the fuck? But hey, that's cool.